Hello guys, I'm UnblissData and welcome to another review. This time we have Hannibal, Season 1, Episode 10. The big 10 episodes into this show. It just keeps on getting better and better. I know I say this quite often, but this show really does amaze me. Just really great writing, really great acting. I can't ask for anything better, and this episode did not stray from that at all. Really, really great, and really creepy. One of the more creepy episodes, in my opinion. But let's get right into this review. And before we do, we just want to let you know that it will contain spoilers. So if you do not want to know what happened, watch the episode and come back. So we start off in Delaware, and a woman at night goes to her log cabin house, all by herself, which is kind of awkward. I don't know why she's by herself middle of the night in a house by herself. It's not really answered, but anyway, she's there. And she's about to go to bed, and right when she's laying down in her bed, she sees that the actual roof in her room is leaking. So obviously she goes upstairs to go check out what's wrong. And there's actually a giant hole in the ceiling, the attic roof. So there's actually a big hole, and it's actually snowing, so, moisture, the water's coming in, it's leaking, whatever. But it zooms out, and we see footprints on the actual roof of the building, so obviously something's happening here. Then the lady goes back to her room and is about to, head back into her bed, and she sees footprints of water. So she's obviously seeing, okay, something's wrong here. And someone's actually under her bed, pulls her under. You just hear a scream and just a slash of blood. Really creepy, and it's really creepy too because it grabs her leg and just pulls her under. Really straight from a horror movie, but really unexpected, really cool, and we don't really know anything other than that. So, of course, Will and Lecter are together right now, and they're talking about, it's just basically one of their, appointments that they're talking about, because obviously Hannibal Lecter is Will's psychiatrist, and they're talking about Abigail, and, I can't believe she took a life. This is all from last episode, just kind of recalling it. I can't believe Abigail took a life. Well, so have you. Yeah, but so have you, Hannibal, and he's right, everyone's taking a life here, and they're all from the same point, and I think they really can empathize with themselves and understand where each of them is coming from. Although for Hannibal it's a lot much different because he's actually a killer, so he has a different view in himself because, well, again, he thinks of himself as better than everyone else. And I find it kind of interesting because Hannibal feels as if Will's his friend, but he still kind of twists him and Jack into doing what he wants. So is he really his friend? You know what I mean? But he does say he's my friend, and I think he actually does care for him. But it's in a weird, friendship relationship here, but, we don't know. So Hannibal asks Will to write in a little notebook a clock and say your name, say where you are, and say what time it is, just so you can, keep in touch with reality, because you're having all these hallucinations, the lapse of time and everything. This will keep you, occupied in the present tense. So he writes the clock, he draws a little clock, and he gives it back to Lecter. And when Lecter looks at the clock, it's all messed up, all the numbers are just right in the corner. But to him, it looks like it's fine. And, that's really eerie and actually really scary because, Will's not even aware that he's in such a state that's so severe that it's really affecting him. And he doesn't even realize it. And Lecter's not really saying anything either, so it just makes everything really creepy. So after that, we go to a different scene, and Will comes back from fishing. And, it's kind of hinted that he likes fishing because we see fishing rods in his little house there, and he's making lures and everything. So he goes fishing. And he has a bunch of fish, he caught a bunch of fish. So he brings it to his counter, and he, starts gutting it so he can eat them, obviously. And just all this blood starts pouring out of the fish, and it's okay, this isn't right. And then all of a sudden, it's, a blink, a flash, and he's at a crime scene, and he's just on top of this girl, and she's bleeding, her mouth is just oozing with blood. And he's just there's blood over Will's hand. He's all scared. He's all, frantic. And he just, gets up and just kind of runs away. He opens the door, and he sees Jack and, all the people from the FBI. He's actually at a crime scene. And, Jack actually confronts him later and says, what happened there? Will says, I was confused. I was disoriented. I don't know. And he actually says, I actually thought I killed her. I don't remember going there and looking at the crime scene. I just remember just being there and feeling like I cut her open. And Jack even says at this point, you know what, I'm officially concerned for you at this point. And it doesn't even make sense because, well, oh, you're officially concerned for me now? What about everything else that's happened to me? You didn't even care at that point until now? And that's kind of sad that Jack actually says it at this point. And Will even contaminated the crime scene. Because he went on top of the girl and actually like touched her. All blood, all his DNA is in the crime scene now. So he actually contaminated it. He never did that before. So Jack's actually like, okay, something's actually really out of the ordinary here. So then Will and Lecter meet again in their little appointment, and he kind of brings up the thing, you know, I don't remember going to the scene, and I know I didn't kill her, but it feels like I really did. Like I remember cutting her. And he brings up the fact, you know, maybe I have seizures, maybe I have a tumor, like a brain tumor. I don't know, and I want to get a test. I want to make sure. So Hannibal recommends a neurologist he knows to actually have some tests done on Will, to actually have a brain scan to see if there's anything abnormal with his brain and basically what's going on, and try to figure out, is this a mental disease or a physical disease? That's the big thing. That's, you know, what's put up in this episode. Will's like struggling to accept that maybe he does have a mental disease and he's just not right in the head, and he really desperately wants it to be physical, so then, you know, there's a chance that he can actually fix himself and actually, you know, be good. So while Will is in the brain scan thing, you know, he's laying down in the machine, Lecter and the doctor talk, and Lecter knows what he has, and I'm not even gonna pronounce it because I'm gonna butcher the name, but yeah, he has a certain disease, and Lecter actually knows this because he actually smelt it on him because of his scent, and we know from a couple episodes ago that Hannibal Lecter has a very good sense of smell. He actually can smell cancer, he can smell, you know, all these things. So yeah, Lecter actually knew that Will had this, and he just said, oh, I suspected that he had it. I just didn't want to bring it up and scare him, blah, blah, blah. And so then Will sees himself on the murder scene again, and he's laying down next to the victim. And the victim, it's ridiculous. And this is happening while he's in the brain scan, too. So, and he's, like, hallucinating while he's in it. The victim was actually cut in the mouth. It was reminding me of Joker from, you know, like, Dark Knight and all that. A knife was put, ripped her jaw, so it looks like she has like a big, like, mouth basically, almost right to her ears. It looks disgusting, and her face was actually pulled back almost like a mask. Really, really, really disgusting. And so yeah, after that, before Will comes out, again, Lecter and the doctor are talking, and they're saying, oh, look, the right side of the brain is inflamed, like, he definitely has a physical problem here. And even the doctor says, you know, maybe you should smell me. Maybe you can tell me what's wrong with me. And Hannibal says, you know what? I smell opportunity. And you know, brain diseases can't be observed that often like this. You know, we have a great opportunity, and you know, there's many advances and things we can find out from this. Like, you know, there's a really big opportunity. So Will comes back, and they tell him there's absolutely nothing wrong with him. They're lying straight to his face, and they're doing this just so that they can observe him and, you know, basically learn more while this disease is running. If they cure it right away, well, then they can't really do anything about it, and they can't learn anything from it. So they actually kind of want Will to suffer in a way, just so they can, like, learn more about the disease. And, okay, Hannibal's saying, yeah, Will, you're my friend. And then he does this. So really, is he his friend? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, you know. So after that, Jack and Hannibal talk about Will, and, you know, and Hannibal brings up, you know, you brought him into this, but Jack actually says, you know, well, Will always came through, he always fought through, and you know, Hannibal brings up another good point here. He says, like, Will doesn't reflect the crime scenes, he absorbs them, and it's starting to really affect him. After all this stuff, you know, after all these twisted, sick things that happen, it's gonna start to affect you, and we can obviously see that it really is. In the past couple episodes, it's really been slowly building up, and now I think it's reached its height with Will. So then Will goes back to the crime scene, the house where this victim was cut open to make it look like a giant, basically, smiley face. Really disgusting. But he goes back there, and it's 10:30, and he says that, you know, he says the exercise that Hannibal Lecter told him to. You know, say what time it is, say your name, say where you are. So he's, you know, it's 10:36 in Delaware. My name is Will Graham. And, you know, I think it really does help him to say that, because it really, you know, grounds him in reality. But again, we'll see what happens. So Will goes to where the, you know, where the blood stains is, where she actually died, and he just looks under the bed, and there's someone under the bed. Really, like, yellow eyes, looks almost like a demon, like a troll almost. Kind of reminds me of Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. But, so Will kind of ducks under to try to look a little further. The bed just flips up, someone runs away, and Will grabs and it's actually a woman, Will grabs the woman's arm, and the whole layer of skin on her arm peels off, and it's like he's holding a glove. Disgusting, really disgusting. Then another flicker comes on, and Will actually has another time lapse. Now he's in the middle of the woods, and he looks around. He's like, I'm Will Graham, and he looks at his watch. Now it's 1:30, like 7 in the morning. And before, right when he got there, it was 10:30. So hours have been passed. He doesn't even know what's happening. So, this is really affecting him. And again, this has happened multiple times. And at every episode, it gets worse and worse. It's gonna come to a point where Will can't take it anymore, and he's just gonna go mentally insane, like fully. And are we gonna want that? No. So Will goes back to the house again with some FBI agents, and he says, I'm not sure if what I seen was real or not. And he said, I grabbed her arm, and the whole layer fell off and everything. But then he comes to a conclusion. Maybe she can't see faces. She might not even know she's been killing these people. She might not even know she's alive. She's in a state where she doesn't know what's real or not. And this is very similar to Will. And I think Will really relates with this killer and really feels like sad for her and kind of relates to her in the same way. And she's actually trying to peel the faces back because she thinks that people are wearing masks because she actually can't see the faces, and that explains why the mouth was cut open like that and tried to peel back. So again, it's cool how they put a twist on this killer where, no, it's not this sociopath that just wants to kill all these people. It's someone that's mentally ill and is having trouble, like, in life in general. Doesn't know what's real or right. Doesn't even know she's alive. Different twist to a different type of killer, and I like that. So at this point, Will and Lecter get talking and get another appointment, and Will asks Lecter asks Will to draw another clock, and again, when he draws it, in his perception, it looks fine. When he hands it to Lecter, we see the truth, and it's all messed up again. So, his condition is not getting any better, and he even tells Lecter, I lost time again, I don't even know what's going on, like, I want another test done. And, so basically, after that, he even brings up, this is really interesting, Will asks Lecter, would you publish anything about me, like, if you find anything interesting? He's like, well, I would, but I wouldn't, like, specify it's you or anything. That's really, really, really great news. Thank you for saying that. It really clears up everything. Honestly, like, come on. I think Will is in a situation right now where he doesn't know who to trust, what to believe, what's real, what's not. I would be terrified if I was Will. So then Jack and Will contact the mother of this deranged woman through her DNA that they found. And the victim, the one that was cut open like smiley face, was actually her best friend. And, she even says, when my girl was 9, she said she was going to kill me. And this is when I first figured out, like, oh, she has, like, a mental disability. And, so, yeah, the doctor didn't say much, kept on saying, what's this, that, basically lied straight to my face. And Will's like, you know what, this is happening to me, too. I think I do have a mental disability. And that's what he's thinking. Really scary to think about that. And, so then, after that, Lecter has the doctor that was working with Will over for dinner. And the doctor's saying, what makes Will so rare? And Lecter says he has a great imagination. And he does. And it's something that is really desirable within psychiatric groups because it's so interesting and it's very rare for someone to have disorders that leads him to be able to empathize with killers and stuff and with anyone, really. And it's something rare that they want to see and observe so they can learn from. And that's basically what Lecter wants to do. But even the doctor says, well, you put his head on fire. You're basically killing him right now. Are you going to put it out? And Will says, yeah, I will in the right time. So we know what I think, again, Lecter says that Will's his friend, but is he really? I think he cares about him, but I think the research and him basically publishing a paper and learning more about this, this mental disability is more important to him. And they even say, now that we know what he has, it's going to be easier to hide from him. So then at this point, Will gets another brain scan, and Will steps out, and when he's leaving, there's no one's around, which is weird, because, people put him in, now no one's around. When he's leaving, he sees a bloody doorknob. So he opens the door, and he sees the doctor that was, that was working with Lecter, just killed the same way as before. Mouth ripped out, just like a giant smiley face. He's actually leaning back. His head is almost like dangling on a hinge. Looks disgusting. This is one of the most disgusting episodes, I have to say. And really creepy because, like, this woman's under a bed. And, like, I know if my little brother's seen this episode, he'd never fall asleep ever. But, you know, it's just really creepy. And I really love the show for it because it's just so interesting and just really keeps you at the edge of your seat. So, yeah, another person was killed in the same way. So, obviously, it's a crime scene now. And Jack actually kind of thinks, like, okay, maybe, you know, Will accidentally did this when it's in his time lapse. But Will says, no, I didn't have a time lapse or anything. I remember everything that happened. I walked in here, seen him, everything. So, and then they say, okay, well, maybe this woman's following you, and they actually, Will basically says, I'm pretty sure that this woman is following me, and because he actually yelled, like, you know, you're still alive, and that's actually attracting her to follow him, because that's the only thing she can know that's real, so that she wants to learn more about that, go after Will, and find out, you know, what's wrong with her, basically. So she's actually is following Will, and maybe she thought that the doctor was me and tried to take off his mask, kill her in the process. So at this point, Will is sleeping in his bed, just laying down on his bed, and a dog is barking. And all of a sudden, Will kind of leans over in his bed, and the woman is under his bed, just like laying down there. Will flips over, just lays down right next to her and says, you know, don't worry, you're not alone, you're still alive, I can help you. Puts out his hand, and she puts out her hand, touches Will's hand, says, am I still alive? You know, that was a complete opposite flip of what was going to happen. You know, that's like a stereotypical, like, murder movie, like, scene. This killer's under the bed, is going to kill the victim right on top of him. No, it turned around and it turned into this really sad, like, touching moment. And I love Hannibal for doing this, really turning this genre upside down and really putting new twists on everything. I really like it. So I thought that was really cool. So now they brought the woman in, and she's going through some tests, and she's really beat up. Her skin's like basically falling off, and it's really disgusting, but she's gonna be okay. So then Lecter and Jack are talking in the last scene, and Jack says, you know, how much do you think she will remember? And Lecter says, hopefully not much. Why does he say that? Well, we actually find out that Lecter killed the doctor, and we actually see a scene where Lecter has this he has his normal suit on, then he has like a sheet of plastic over him, and he's just cutting through the doctor's head to make it look like what the killer did with the other victim, the girl in her room, and he just kind of covered it up to make it look like she killed again. But she actually came in the room while Lecter was killing the doctor, and Lecter gave the murder weapon to her just so her DNA would rub off on it, and then, oh, okay, it must have been her. So Lecter's actually killing people, and then instead of like putting his own twist, well, oh, it's the Chesapeake Ripper again, he's masking it to look like the killers that are at large at the moment, so that they know it's not actually the Ripper, it's not actually Hannibal killing, which is really smart. Now, that's it for this episode, but the question comes up, why did Hannibal kill the doctor? He had no reason to, other than the fact that he knew that Will actually wasn't, wasn't actually have a mental disability, it's actually physical, but he said he was going to keep it a secret, so why would he kill him? Maybe he's just really not important, maybe he's just really not important, and Hannibal just wants to get rid of him right there and then. I don't know. I can only speculate at this point, but I know that this show is awesome, and it actually did get renewed for season 2. When this episode aired, it actually did get renewed, so I'm happy for that. Really thankful that it did get renewed. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. The show's amazing. But I just cannot wait for more, and I just really want to see how this story develops. And I know you guys can't wait either. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, and we can swap our thoughts and ideas about this episode and the series in general. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. See ya.